if Larry is not coming, Carol, you have to assume.
Okay.
With Mike.
All right. Thank you for coming. Goodbye, everyone.
You're more than capable.
We can have another guest speaker. Oh, she's shy.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be.
Guys, you are live on YouTube.
Brilliant.
Let me just check the link. You can keep talking. It starts at 4, so you can just talk about.
We can just chitter-chatter.
Yeah, Larry's here, so.
Oh,
Awesome.
I was hoping Carol was going to interview me for his job. I'm only joking. I guess he can hear me as well, right?
Yeah, he can.
Oh, cool.
I just want him to put his camera on.
He must be making a cup of tea.
Or having a glass of whiskey.
One stumper or two, Carol. Hey, remember that one? That was brilliant.
Oh, that was. What the hell?
That was quite a good day. When you guys come down, that was quite a good day. I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was nice. Once this clears up, we'll have Larry buy his lunch again.
Yeah, man.
He needs to make up for it.
We'll all meet up at Fun Dealer.
Exactly.
Where it's happening.
Absolutely.
Is Larry in?
I don't see him on the participants.
He's on attendees. But I'm trying to make him a panelist, but he's not. Now he's.
There we go.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
I've been here the whole time listening to you talk about me, but letting me join in. It was quite amusing. And yes, it was a good story about one stump or two.
That was brilliant.
I even remember the name of the company.
Oh, no. I reckon that was probably the best ad hoc joke of my entire life.
It was, you had to be there at the time. Honestly, it was so cringing. It was beyond belief. What do you know, there's not masses you can say at that point. It's like, great.
I think the funnier thing that it was an office full of people all trying to work, and we were just absolutely howling.
Yeah. No.
Scurrying into my office. Yep, nothing to see here.
That was hilarious. That was a good day.
That was good.
Yeah. Right, so let's make that full size and close some of this other stuff down.
Let me try it. I got the little helper here that she's doing some work. She's got a cup of tea.
Oh, look at her. She's like a little mini Mike next to you.
Yeah, everybody says that. She's not actually working. She's just been drawn all day. We haven't done any schoolwork.
All right.
Just to see, Paula, everybody else on the bottom row's mic is saying that it's switched off, but yours isn't. So just in case you start singing in the background.
Thank you. I'm going to turn it off. Thank you, Larry.
Let it go. Let it go.
That's bad.
Just a little warning for you, you know. You start another phone call or something.
Always good. You know, we never know when we're live.
Don't forget, all your InfraSpeak customers are fluent in Portuguese now.
Yeah. Mike, I'm about to upset Liliana and Paula. You ready?
Yep.
Larry, unbelievable.
Larry, come on. We're live, Larry.
You got every day, Larry. That's awful.
Larry and his crisps.
We're missing the beer, Larry.
No beer today. There was no beer the other day either. It was blackcurrant and water.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what you're
I
trying.
got past snake bite a long time ago, Mike.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So we've got 5 minutes until we begin.
so I thought it was interesting that we changed the subject matter for today.
Okay.
Yeah, that was good.
Carol has that look in her face going, what?
Carol's like, oh my God, I missed the memo again. Freaking hell. Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
This bollocking needs to stop.
I did.
How's the weather in Scotland, Larry?
Great, overcast. People are working on their suntans. A light drizzle, you know, pretty much. Typical.
What'd you get out there in where daylight? 2-3 hours now?
Oh no, we're in the big time now. It's daylight by 7 until 7. We're about 12 hours of kind of greyish grey daylight. We'll grant you, but you know. But actually, at the weekend there, we had kind of London weather. I mean, it only got up to 8 degrees in temperature, but for us, that was, you know, height of summer.
You had your suntan on there?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we would factor 50 for that kind of weather.
Put it on with a paint roller.
We're the only race that starts out pale blue. We have to work towards getting white, you know. Us and the Irish quite similar in that regards.
Oh, 3 minutes. Awesome. Pale blue.
Actually, you're all live. 3 minutes till we start.
Exactly.
Can you draw me a cat? Yeah. Draw a unicorn. Draw a unicorn like Daddy's unicorn. This is my unicorn that I drew. And that's a picture of my dog. That's my unicorn.
It's a work of art.
Yeah. It was actually this unicorn that I drew. And maybe I could do the whole thing like this.
Just with a little voiceover.
This is how you panic Paula Juliana. 1 minute.
It's like, Larry, where are you going? We're minutes away.
I can't, Larry, well, he actually did get out.
Yeah.
Good luck, you guys. I'm gonna have my phone off.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very good luck. I'll be listening to you all.
Thank you. See you soon.
Everybody else just reaches the phone to make sure they've switched it off at that point. Or at least on a silent.
One minute away.
Power off my iPad as well.
Hey. You're going to be good. See if you can write down 8 on page. See how many names you can put on here. Can you spell?
Yes. Perfect. Thank you. Deal. I think we should be ready to go.
Oh, good job. Do another one.
We okay to start?
It's 4 o'clock by my watch.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, amazing. Perfect. So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to InfraSpeak. I'm Carol, the Customer Success Manager for InfraSpeak UK. As most of you remember me, we met at our first webinar, and I'm excited to be chatting with you all today. It's my pleasure to welcome today to the webinar Mike Kelly, a maintenance manager at Sandila. And I would also like to introduce to you Larry O'Brien, country manager for InfraSpeak UK.
Hi, folks.
So we're broadcasting directly from different parts. As everybody's aware, we're all working remotely. So I'm live here in London. How about you, Mike? Where are you broadcasting from today?
Contrary to popular belief, I'm actually broadcasting from Gloucestershire today.
Nice.
Nice and
Larry?
sunny.
How about you, Larry? Where are you broadcasting from today?
I'm up in the west of Scotland, so about 500 miles from you.
Lovely, amazing. I'm honored to have you both here today and joining me for this webinar. Mike and Larry are some of the best maintenance leaders out in the industry, and we're excited to hear from them today. So today we will be discussing some topics such as FM during crisis, remote working, and best practices, FM and maintenance. Mike, I'm going to start off with you if you don't mind.
Of course
So
not.
2020 was meant to be a year with a lot of new challenges and changes. And things they've actually been quite challenging in the last couple of weeks, as we can see. Pretty accurate. How are you getting by with this crisis? How are you dealing with it? What were you expecting to happen in 2020 before COVID-19 occurred?
So as any manager, I think I was expecting and hoping for business growth. I was hoping, we're seeing high demand, record demand, especially for this time of year. Performance output was amazing within the business. We had new products on the go. The trials were going really, really well. All from a production side of view, very positive things. But challenges that we've had in the maintenance, specifically the beginning of this year, has been to keep up with the projects and planned maintenance. With such business change going on, it's been a little bit choppy and changey, which we don't mind because we kept busy. But we ended up having a lot of loose ends, jobs that weren't finished, a little bit of lacking structure, kind of requiring a little bit of pulling people from here and there, and everybody getting a bit sort of don't know where we're going. Really had to sort of knuckle down and try and implement some structure, and specifically for using CMMS, we've sort of implemented a structure that enables engineers to almost manage their own time. And yeah, we've sort of began to see the wood from the trees, and then yeah, now COVID-19.
All right. What are your insights on this, Larry? What have our clients shared with you?
Well, pre COVID-19 and our current lockdown, and hence we're all working from home doing this, customers, the requirements vary depending upon the size, the industry, specifically what they're looking for, what they had already in terms of embedded systems or greenfield sites or everything like this. But there was some core themes were coming through from everything they were doing. So really people are looking for simplicity. They're looking to understand their data and have systems operating in such a way that the greenfield sites taking on their first system didn't want something that was burdensome or complex. Existing sites who've got existing solutions were maybe looking for something that was more relevant to them where they are today, because a lot of people have systems that force them to do it in a particular way, or they have a system that they implemented X number of years ago, so it's not relevant anymore. You go from that, the other areas they were looking for was kind of visibility and accuracy. So again, coming back to the data. So who did what, when, have they finished the job, have they updated the end user, has it been billed, where were they as far as their SLAs, the performance criteria, all of these sort of things. And then the last bit that came out of that, but probably the most important bit, especially in COVID-19 territory now, was communication. They really wanted that communication loop between the engineers, the managers, the end users, so that everybody knew where they were at any stage of the process. Had the job been started, had the engineer put it on pause, waiting on parts, maybe he'd gone for his lunch. If the engineer was finished, could the manager get me go to another job? Or if he was nearby another job, could he reallocate them? Had you communicated everything with the end user? It seems like simple requirements: visibility, accuracy, communication, you know, simplicity, but those were the kind of demands that were coming through from customers and prospects.
Okay. However, a lot has now changed. What are the expectations? What has changed in the daily basis activities before COVID-19 occurred?
So from COVID-19 to now, obviously, as you can tell, I'm quite distracted. I've got my little girl sat over there on the sofa. I'm not sure what she's doing to the dog. But yeah, obviously I'm not at site. I've got no guys here to manage, which is a huge part of my job, is, you know, interacting with clients, suppliers, contractors, team members, and all other colleagues across sort of the production areas. And the challenge really is, how do we be business as normal? It's an impossible thing to do, but it's something we've got to press on and try and do. So obviously it's difficult for me to now attend the site, because obviously things like lone working, social distancing, these are things that are far from normal in my field.
Yeah,
that's quite difficult to sort of get your head around, is that you can't just go and do that. You can't just, you're not doing your normal hours. You're at home, you're trying to incorporate your life with work life at home, trying to get into site. There's obviously difficulty as well. There's a recent notification from the HSE saying there's going to be no leeway on thorough inspections for PSSR and for loader inspections. So to coordinate those, they have to be done at the site. You know, I can't bring lifting equipment home, like they can't come to my house. So those are things we're going to have to coordinate, obviously throughout the industry. Everybody's going to have to coordinate getting those essential things done, and just try and keep things afloat, really.
How are you managing the current situation?
So currently I'm trying to keep myself structured. I'm trying to keep to getting up at a reasonable hour. I'm trying to keep to not having too many cups of tea during the day. I'm trying to stick to sort of usual things at usual times, but I'm not trying to be regimented. So in no way am I saying I have to do this at this time, I have to do this, because, you know, there has to be the flexibility working from home.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also, you know, I've got little one here, so you know, she requires a lot of attention, and it turns out I'm not as good at maths as I thought I was, but you know, I'm dealing with it. And from a personal side, my advice to give to anybody who's working from home or that is social distancing from their relatives is to keep as many pictures as you can of the people that you miss around your house, because just seeing their face, it's amazing how that can make such a difference to your day.
Brilliant. Thank you for those tips. Definitely important. Larry, how are you getting on with the current situation?
Oh, I'm in a very, very, very fortunate position that I have a room I can dedicate to working from home, and I've taken the handle off the outside of the door.
Is that to prevent your children from barging in on you?
Very much. My children are currently getting their homeschooling lesson for today, and I believe my wife is doing PE outside with them and the dog, which is called Run Fetch, and I'm not sure whether she's telling fetch to the children or fetch to the dog. But as Mike says, it's structuring your day to work in blocks or segments. There's no absolutes. I mean, we're reaching out to customers and to prospects. We're not, how can I say it? We're not really selling, we're engaging with people. We're putting people together where we can with networks. I've just come off the phone with an HVAC provider I know and suggesting that they talk to somebody that's looking for some assistance. So we're having those kind of conversations, and just helping where we can, talking with people. Now is not the time for really outright selling unless somebody wants to buy. And that's great. But saying that, we are still having those conversations. We are still working. I mentioned in the last one of these we did, one of the benefits we've got is that we're in the FM sector. There's a real sense of practicality and pragmatism, the show must go on type approach. So like Mike's having to turn around and restructure and do much more solo worker and, you know, understand what he's doing and while complying with the regulations and the requirements, everybody else in our sector is having to do the same. So it's just about focus and structure. And as Mike says, it's a balance. Have the pictures, the ones you love, talk to the ones you love, you know, do that mix, because it's kind of difficult sometimes working from home.
Yeah, absolutely. It all comes back to what you both mentioned, and you do keep underlining, which is it's all about communication on a professional and on a personal level. Speaking of communication, how has technology helped you manage your FM needs nowadays?
So the back end of last year, obviously, we implemented CMMS at our site in Peak, obviously. Since we've sort of gone live with that, I'm fortunate that I'm in a position where I'm now pretty refined on the software. So it's been pretty easy for me to just drop things around and for me to build a custom maintenance plan within InfraSpeak, just to go from what was essentially a maximum uptime scenario into now what's a best possible condition scenario for when we can start back up. Obviously, there's other tech. I've got remote access to the CCTV to keep an eye on the site just while nobody's there.
Yeah, good.
All the alarms, they're all auto-dialed to my phone. We've got huge tech at the site for when we are running. I mean, our operator can run a whole production line from just a tablet. So we are seeing tech really come into the industry, and it certainly is helping and revolutionizing the way we work.
Brilliant. Larry, how's technology? What's your opinion on how technology's impacted the FM needs nowadays?
You really be asking a tech person a question on technology. This is bread and butter for us. You know that, Carol, what we do. Because we are already a technology company and I'm based in Scotland, you're based in London, we work together, we see each other in the office when we're together, but we also do lots of video conference calls with our colleagues in Portugal and Spain and Brazil, etc. So for us, you know, whether you're using Google Hangouts, whether you're using Zoom, whether you're using Microsoft Teams or whatever, it's what we do. So it's actually quite easy. We deploy it even more to talk to people. I mean, I've actually done, this morning, we did 2 webinars with prospects. So we were actually doing software presentations this morning and conversations with people. And, you know, sometimes I reach out to people and say, rather than just have a phone call, do they want to have a webinar meeting, which historically people have found strange, but actually in the current climate, it's much more acceptable. They quite like human face and having that conversation. So, you know, it's great. We can still build relationships, meet people, and we use it for that, you know, just to talk to people and be there at this moment in time. So most of the stuff we're doing is communication, conversations, webinars, or practical presentations of software, either to prospects or to customers, showing them how to do something with the product. So it's great.
Do you guys think that due to the current situation of the world, that throughout all the businesses, technology will be looked at in a different way and will be used in a different way?
Yeah, I think technology is definitely going to be more welcomed into businesses, and I think especially now that all businesses have sort of had to adapt to enable working from home, I think when we do ease back into the workplace, I think we're going to see a lot more flexibility from a lot of businesses that are saying, hey, look, you know, you were still productive, you know, this can be done a different way.
Yeah, I'd agree with Mike. I think people will take up advantage that the technology offers, whether it's the simplicity of being able to change your maintenance plan on your CMMS solution, whether it's the fact that people can work from home and utilize technology to do more maintenance things. I think historically there's been this, are people working when they're at home type approach? And I know it can be harder, but I think this process will prove that a lot more people are able to be productive while working remotely. And, you know, it's an advantage for organizations longer term. You know, especially if you deal on international stuff, you don't actually need to make those flights. You can deal with a lot of it in a 20-minute phone call or a 20-minute webinar. You know, it does work very productively in that regard. So, you know, I think
Sorry.
it's even more.
We have a special guest, I can see. So we're coming down to our last question. Just to let everyone know, if you have any questions, please feel free to share them and I will get back to you at the end. So moving onwards, what do you both think is going to be the legacy of the current scenario, both on a professional and on a company perspective and point of view, and even personal? What are your thoughts?
So I think personally, professionally, my biggest sort of post-lockdown resolution, if you like,
Yeah.
is I'm going to leave less loose ends, definitely, because you don't realize until you're immediately cut off and disconnected from something.
Yeah.
What you've sort of, oh my God, I've left that behind. I've not done that. I've not done this. There's always tomorrow. It can always wait for tomorrow.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that that's definitely something I need to do, is not leave loose ends. Business wise, I think all businesses are going to start respecting the supply chain more. A lot of suppliers have probably just stopped trading, and we're struggling to obtain basic things which we usually take for granted. I don't know how the supply chain is going to open back up, whether we're going to probably start with making UK manufacture a bit better and a bit more appreciated. I don't know, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
But personally, I'd like to think that everybody is going to be more kind. I think everybody needs to have a bit more of a sense of togetherness. And I think people need to realize that, it doesn't matter where you are, what you're doing, who you are. Everybody is in the same scenario. It is, a global thing. Everybody's in the same scenario. So I think everybody's going to come out of this a bit more humbled.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I'd agree with Mike on most of those points. The personal ones, I think you start to value those relationships even more. And the combination of personal and professional as well, you've engaged with people to some extent that now I reach out to people on a daily basis on webinars. So, I talk to them every day just to see how they're doing. If there's anything we can help with, if there's anything they need, how they're getting on. Because as we say, so it's quite useful to have those conversations and just make sure that in the scenario where some other people are trapped in their apartment with their flatmates or their parents or something like that, that they're all okay and they're comfortable doing that. Professionally, going forward, I'd agree with Mike's comment on the supply chain. I think there's also going to be impacts on people who were working on just-in-time stocks and things like this that they're going to need to build up more in terms of their stock holdings and what they're doing. So you're going to see investment in that. I think there will be a bigger investment in technology because there are a lot of people that have been caught on the hop from that point of view. And I think there's going to be more contingency planning. I mean, going forward, people are going to have to do more audits, more contingency planning, preparedness. Let's hope to God we never see another COVID-19, but just having plans for eventualities is going to be a very useful thing to do. Yeah, but in the main, I think it comes back to the point Mike made. I think it was a really good point about everybody just being that bit nicer to everybody else. It's not a big ask.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully it makes the world a little bit of a better place to be in after all of this. Yeah.
Stranger things have happened.
I couldn't agree. That's great. So let's see if we have any questions from our attendees if anybody has anything they want to share or ask you guys. So let me reach out. So Mike, I've got a question for you. What is your tip on, sorry. Yeah, so what is your tip, or how can or should we, or in this case, should you as a manager start a contingency plan?
So I think it goes back to what I was first saying about how I would, sort of learning from this experience. I think contingency needs to start with the now, not the future. I think you need to start with planning by making sure now is together, making sure you've got those loose ends tied up before you forget them, make sure you've got things put to bed properly, and think rationally about what you need. Like, I don't think we need to be panic buying this, panic buying that. I think we just need to make sure we're respecting everybody, doing what we do, but also start thinking about, okay, so how do we do this again? How do we maintain that further? Is there steps that we can put in place that are going to make things last a bit longer, that are going to do it? But what happens if we miss this service? What happens if we can't get that? Those are obviously questions that need to be asked. But at the same time, nobody's got an unlimited budget. So in those times, it's sort of, it's thinking about what you can do. Probably, to be honest, not worrying about what you can't control. Yeah. Because, that's not going to do anybody any good.
Yeah. Larry, any opinions from you due to your past experience?
I think there's probably going to be a whole little industry is going to grow up around contingency planning and consulting for it over the next while. I think, as Mike says, it's practicalities and common sense 9 times out of 10. It's people haven't thought about it and put just sensible procedures in place. And Mike's point about thinking about it the now is valid. It's talking with your supply chain, building that relationship with your supply chain so that you've got access to a Kanban stock, or what's going to be coming down the pipe, or you've made agreements and arrangements in that. You've got third relationships with your third-party service providers on what they need to do, etc. And you understand what you can do, what's essential, what's non-essential, what's nice to have, and just take it from there. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Let me reach out and see if there are any more questions for you guys. Bear with me just a moment.
See, for the next time we do one of these, Carol, I'm going to lend you my glasses because
I'm squinting. Perfect. Brilliant. Perfect. No more questions for the time being, so you guys are safe.
I thought we were going to get, what's the dog's name?
Yes, please do share with us.
His name's Otto.
Otto, he's adorable. Thank you for being our special guest today, Otto. Mike, Larry, it's been a pleasure speaking with you both today. These guys are both on LinkedIn, so please feel free to connect and reach out to them if you have any questions or if you want to share any of your experiences. We appreciate all of the attendees that were with us today. Thank you. And we'll be back next Thursday, so please join us. See you then. Thank you, everyone. Bye. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.